the sound of a train rumbles in the distance.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. That simple introduction became one of the most recognizable signatures in music history, as iconic as the Man in Black himself. In a career spanning 5 decades, Johnny Cash transcended the boundaries of country music to become something far greater, a cultural touchstone, a voice for the downtrodden, and an American legend who faced his own demons in the public eye. His story is one of redemption, love, struggle, and an unwavering dedication to his art that would influence generations to come. From the cotton fields of Arkansas to the heights of global stardom, from the depths of addiction to the triumph of redemption, Cash's journey embodied the very essence of the American spirit. His deep baritone voice carried not just songs, but the weight of human experience, pain, joy, rebellion, and salvation. This is the story of a man who defined his own path, broke the rules when they needed breaking, and stood up for those who couldn't stand up for themselves. A man whose music touched millions, whose life story became legend, and whose influence continues to shape artists across all genres today. What's your favorite Johnny Cash song and why? Share your personal connection to his music in the comments below. Early life. The story begins in Kingsland, Arkansas in 1932, where J.R. Cash was born into a world of cotton fields and crushing poverty. The Great Depression had its grip on America, and the Cash family, like many others, found themselves part of President Roosevelt's New Deal experiment. They relocated to Dyess Colony, a planned agricultural community where 5-year-old J.R. joined his family picking cotton and finding solace in gospel music and radio shows. Life in Dyess was hard but formative. Young J.R. worked alongside his parents and 6 siblings in the cotton fields, earning $3 a day. The rhythm of work songs and the hymns from his mother's worn hymnal would later influence his distinctive sound. His father, Ray, was a hard man, shaped by poverty. But his mother, Carrie, saw something special in her son, scraping together money for occasional singing lessons. The defining moment of Cash's youth came in 1944, when his beloved older brother Jack was pulled into a workshop saw at his high school job. Jack lingered for a week before passing, and his death haunted Cash for the rest of his life. Jack had wanted to become a preacher, and his final words about seeing angels left an indelible mark on Johnny's spiritual journey and songwriting. After graduating high school in 1950, Cash found himself in Pontiac, Michigan, briefly working in an automobile plant before enlisting in the United States Air Force. Stationed in Landsberg, Germany, as a radio intercept operator monitoring Soviet transmissions, he formed his first band, the Landsberg Barbarians. It was here, far from the cotton fields of Arkansas, that J.R. became Johnny Cash, purchasing his first guitar and writing what would become Folsom Prison Blues after watching the film Inside the Walls of Folsom Prison. Returning home in 1954, Cash married Vivian Liberto, whom he had met during basic training, and moved to Memphis, Tennessee. By day, he sold appliances door to door. By night, he studied radio announcing at the Keegan School of Broadcasting. But music called to him constantly, and eventually he found the courage to approach Sam Phillips at Sun Records, the man who had discovered Elvis Presley. With his distinctive voice and the backing of the Tennessee Two, Luther Perkins and Marshall Grant, Cash was about to step onto the path that would make him a legend. Did any of these lesser-known facts about Johnny Cash surprise you? Tell us which one caught you off guard. Rise to stardom. The halls of Sun Records would forever change when Johnny Cash, Luther Perkins, and Marshall Grant walked in with their unique Boom Chicka Boom sound. Their first single, Hey Porter, backed with Cry, 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 released in 1955, marked the beginning of a meteoric rise. The follow-up, Folsom Prison Blues, introduced the world to Cash's fascination with prison life and redemption. But it was I Walk the Line that catapulted him to national fame in 1956, topping the country charts and crossing over to pop success. Cash's time at Sun Records proved transformative, recording alongside future legends Elvis Presley, Carl Perkins, and Jerry Lee Lewis, a collaboration that would later be dubbed the $1 Million Quartet. But despite the success, tensions grew with Sam Phillips. Cash felt constrained by the rockabilly sound Phillips preferred, yearning to record gospel music and explore broader themes. In 1958, Cash made the bold move to Columbia Records, seeking artistic freedom and better terms. The gamble paid off immediately with Don't Take Your Guns to Town, a massive hit that demonstrated his storytelling prowess. His success allowed him to realize his dream of recording gospel music, starting with Hymns by Johnny Cash. But success came with a price. Life on the road took its toll on his marriage to Vivian and their 4 daughters. The pressures of touring, coupled with the temptations of fame, led Cash to amphetamines and alcohol. His friend Carl Perkins would later recall he'd take a handful of pills and wash them down with a beer. He was like a wild animal trapped in a cage. During this period, Cash met June Carter, a member of the legendary Carter family, who joined his touring show. Their chemistry was immediate and undeniable, though both were married to others at the time. June brought not just romantic complications, but also a deep connection to country music's roots and a family legacy that would later help shape Cash's career. By the mid-1960s, Johnny Cash had become one of country music's biggest stars, but his personal life was unraveling. His hit songs like Ring of Fire, co-written by June Carter about falling in love with him, told one story to the public, while backstage, a different drama was unfolding. The Man in Black was about to enter his darkest period, yet it would ultimately lead to his greatest triumphs. If you could pick one Johnny Cash duet to listen to for the rest of your life, June Carter or another artist, which would it be? Let us know in the comments. Personal demons and professional heights. The late 1960s marked both the darkest and most triumphant period of Johnny Cash's career. His addiction to amphetamines and barbiturates had reached a critical point. Shows were missed or performed in a drug-induced haze. In 1965, he was arrested in El Paso after customs officers found hundreds of pills in his guitar case. The incident made headlines, but it wasn't rock bottom. Not yet. That came in 1967, when Cash crawled into Nickajack Cave near Chattanooga, Tennessee, intending to die. In a moment of clarity amid withdrawal and despair, he experienced what he later described as a spiritual awakening. With June Carter's help, he emerged from the cave and began the hard work of getting clean. June had refused to watch him destroy himself, telling him, "I'm not going to marry you like this." Her tough love, combined with his renewed faith, helped Cash achieve sobriety. They married in 1968, beginning a partnership that would define both their lives and country music history. During this period of personal transformation, Cash made one of the boldest moves of his career, recording live albums at Folsom Prison and San Quentin. At Folsom Prison captured Cash at his raw best, connecting with inmates through songs of redemption and rebellion. The album's success resurrected his career, with Folsom Prison Blues becoming a signature hit all over again. The San Quentin concert followed in 1969, featuring the premiere of A Boy Named Sue, which became Cash's biggest crossover hit. These prison concerts weren't just recordings, they were statements about humanity and redemption. Cash believed in second chances because he'd needed so many himself. Professional success soared. The Johnny Cash Show debuted on ABC in 1969, running until 1971. Cash used his platform to showcase diverse artists, from Bob Dylan to Louis Armstrong, breaking down musical and racial barriers in the process. He became known as much for his social conscience as his music, speaking out for Native American rights and prison reform. Yet even in this triumphant period, Cash remained candid about his ongoing struggles with addiction. His sobriety was hard-won, day by day, with June by his side. Their duet, Jackson, wasn't just a hit song. It was a testament to their partnership in music and life. A partnership that would help sustain them through decades of challenges and victories ahead. We all have that one Cash song that gives us goosebumps. Is it Hurt, Ring of Fire, or something else? Share your emotional Cash moment below. Reinvention and redemption. The 1970s marked a new chapter in Johnny Cash's life. Clean and sober, married to June Carter, he entered what many consider his artistic prime. His newfound stability allowed him to explore deeper themes in his music while maintaining his connection to both country traditions and contemporary sounds. His religious faith, always present but now renewed, led to deeper spiritual explorations. He began producing films like The Gospel Road and wrote his first autobiography, Man in Black, which detailed his religious convictions alongside his personal struggles. Yet Cash never became preachy. His Christianity was wrapped in humility and understanding, informed by his own battles with human weakness. The formation of The Highwaymen in 1985 with Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Chris Christopherson represented more than just a supergroup. It was country music royalty joining forces. Their collaboration produced 3 albums and multiple tours, cementing Cash's place in the Mount Rushmore of country music. These weren't just performances, they were celebrations of friendship and musical brotherhood. Yet the music industry was changing. By the mid-1980s, Cash found himself increasingly out of step with the polished, commercial sound dominating Nashville. Columbia Records, his home for nearly 30 years, dropped him in 1986. It could have been the end of the story for a lesser artist, but Cash kept touring, kept writing, kept believing. June remained his anchor through this period, their love story continuing to captivate audiences. The world needs to know what true love is, June would say, and their marriage demonstrated it daily. Together, they weathered the changes in the industry, health challenges, and the natural aging process that was beginning to affect Cash's powerful voice. What looked like a career decline was actually setting the stage for one of the most remarkable third acts in musical history. Johnny Cash wasn't finished, not by a long shot. He was about to reinvent himself one more time, reaching new audiences while staying true to his core artistic vision. Which current artist do you think best carries on Johnny Cash's legacy? Tell us who and why in the comments. Later years. In 1994, an unlikely partnership would completely redefine Johnny Cash's legacy. Producer Rick Rubin, known for his work with hip-hop and metal acts, approached Cash with a simple concept: just the man, his guitar, and songs that spoke to his soul. The result was American Recordings, recorded largely in Cash's living room, which introduced him to a whole new generation. The stripped-down approach highlighted the gravity and authenticity that had always been Cash's hallmark. He covered songs from artists as diverse as Nick Cave, Glenn Danzig, and Tom Petty, alongside his own compositions. The music industry took notice. The album won a Grammy for Best Contemporary Folk Album, but more importantly, it restored Cash's artistic credibility. 5 more American Recordings albums would follow. Cash's cover of 9 Inch Nails' Hurt, released in 2002, became his final masterpiece. The Stark video, showing an elderly Cash alongside images from his past, served as a powerful meditation on mortality, love, and legacy. Even 9 Inch Nails' Trent Reznor admitted that the song wasn't his anymore. It belonged to Cash. These final years were marked by both triumph and loss. Health problems mounted, and June Carter Cash passed away in May 2003. 4 months later, Johnny followed her. His last recordings, captured during what he knew might be his final days, showed an artist still pushing forward, still creating, still having something to say. The American recording series proved that authenticity never goes out of style. Cash's weathered voice, dealing with themes of mortality, redemption, and love, resonated with audiences across generations. He hadn't changed who he was. The world had finally caught up to Johnny Cash. His last act wasn't a comeback. It was a reminder of what had made him great all along. Unflinching honesty, artistic integrity, and the ability to find the universal in the personal. Legacy and impact. Johnny Cash's influence reaches far beyond country music, touching rock, folk, punk, and hip-hop. 9 Grammy Awards and induction into multiple halls of fame only hint at his cultural impact. His authenticity shaped generations of musicians, from Bruce Springsteen to Chris Stapleton, while his advocacy for prison reform and Native American rights set a template for artistic activism. The endurance of Cash's appeal lies in his humanity. He never pretended to be perfect. His commitment to truth and authenticity continues to resonate in today's digital age, proving that while trends come and go, honesty endures. Lesser-known facts: beyond his musical legacy, Cash lived a life full of surprising passions. He was an amateur archaeologist who discovered a Native American cave dwelling in Jamaica and maintained an extensive fossil collection. He wrote science fiction stories, recorded songs in multiple languages, and secretly funded rehabilitation programs and funerals for the less fortunate. His military experience with Morse code occasionally found its way into his music, showing how Cash never stopped experimenting and learning throughout his life. What's the most valuable life lesson you've learned from Johnny Cash's story? Share your perspective below. Your answer might inspire others. If you've enjoyed this journey through the life of Johnny Cash, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's much more to explore in the world of music legends, and we're just getting started. Share your favorite Johnny Cash moment in the comments below and hit that notification bell to catch our next video about another iconic musician who changed the face of American music.